Okay, welcome back to Web Design Shortcode, Shortcodes, rather. So today we want to look at something that is very, very important in JavaScript, the Fetch API. And this is a very powerful tool that allows us to be able to fetch data and to be able to output that data inside our browser. Okay,
Yeah.
so we are going to get data. You can use an API, you can use a local file, you can use several things to be able to show that data. So I'll just create a file here. I'll call it maybe say day 15. I'm not sure if it's day 15. Then I'll put here emmet. Then this will be fetch API like that. So now let me assume, let me open this, open them side by side. So to be able to put, so when you have them side by side like that, we can be able to see the output nicely. So I'll go live on this. Then I'll close this. So yeah, so we have this. Now, what I want to do here, I want to display an image here, and this image is supposed to be dynamic. Maybe say the user who was logged in. So I don't know who was logged in, but maybe I want to determine who was logged in into the future. Then I can be able to place their image, right? So what I can do here, I can have an
Yeah.
image with a source and alt. I'll say profile photo. Then maybe I can give it an ID, profile photo. Like that. So you can see there's no image here. So we want to use JavaScript to load this image using the fetch API. Okay. So that's the first simplest example I'm going to show you on how to use the fetch API. Okay. So
Yeah.
I'll come back to my JavaScript here. Just write it down here for convenience sake. Even though in practice I know we should not write it here. So I'll do a script here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to declare a constant called image location or image preview. Image preview. I'm going to get the document. Then I get the element by ID, the query selector, query selector. Then we'll pick with the ID of profile photo, right?
Yeah.
That should be that should be able to pick for us this profile photo over here, isn't it? Then
Yeah.
now, when I come to my folder structure here and I come to images, I have this one.jpg. Let's say I want to display this one.jpg, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me use this one.jpg. So I want to take this one.jpg and load it here. So there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to close that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say fetch, and I'm going to go into images folder. Then I'll get one.jpg. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, it will get the image, but it will not return what we expect. So what fetch does is it returns what we call a promise. Okay. So it
Yeah.
returns a promise. So a promise is it's going to execute that operation. Once it's done, it's going to tell me that it is done. So if we're using promises, then we can use then. Of course, you're going to use await later on. So then inside this then, so it will do what it's supposed to do. Once it's done whatever it's supposed to do, then it will tell me inside here whatever it has gotten. So what I can do here, I can do something like response will be response. Then I run a fat arrow like that. I can log, maybe say the response, so that I see what it has returned. Okay. So if I come to my response console here, you'll see it actually returns a few things. So it will return a response here, the body with readable stream. This is actually the data that we need. It has headers here, and the headers okay is true, and it has a status and all that, right? So it tells us that
Yeah.
we're able to fetch this data. Otherwise, if I misspelled this, like that, you can see it will still return something, but it will tell me okay is false. Okay, and
yeah,
memo data, yes, okay is false. Text is not found. So if the data is not found, it will tell me. If the data is also found, it will also be able to tell me. So that's the first. That's where we usually start first. So if okay is true, then I know that well, hapa mambo iko sawa. Ndio.
yeah.
Now
Mm,
when okay is true, the next thing I need to do is to maybe say return the response, because it's basically you can see what is happening here. It does not really return anything that I can be able to use. Okay. So
yeah,
what I'm going to do is I'm going to return that response. So once it is done getting the data, I'm going to return that data that it was returned. Ideally, this one I can write as one line of text. If I was not console logging it, I could simply say here response, then I return the response like that. That is still allowed. Okay, there's no error. So this is the shortcut of this. All that I'm put this in three lines because I wanted to do two things. And since I'm returning the response object directly, I don't need the return keyword. So this is a short arrow function in short. Okay. So this is the long
yeah,
format. This is the long format. Even if I was to mask this, this is the long format. This is the short format. So usually I prefer to use the short format. Okay. So once this one has been returned, then because it also returns a promise. So this one also returns a promise. Then I'll still be able to run another promise. So once it's done, I'll simply now take the blob. Then from there, I can decide what I want to do with the blob. So at this particular point, I'll be able to get the image that was displayed inside there, right? So how do I get the image? I could simply say something that I can console log this blob so that we see what it contains, like that. So when I do that, you'll see it creates a response. Hmm, why is it not giving me what I need? Yeah, that's what I need. Just a minute, that's what I need. Sorry, it has what I need, which is that. Okay, anyway, I have this image. I have this image here that I need. So what I can do here, I can pick this image preview. So instead of console logging this, instead of console logging this, with image preview.source is equals to blob. Will that work out? That will not work out because it will tell me the response that it requires cannot be used. So
yeah,
that is agreeable. So what we need to do, we're going to say here URL dot create URL object. Then we'll give the blob. Uh, why is it failing? Image preview the source. Yeah, I tried this before. It was working. Why is it not? Why is it failing right now? Oh, I need to return the blob object itself. So on the response, I need to return the blob. So on the image, I need to return the blob. And as you can see, now it has actually filled in my page with the content. Okay. So
yeah,
maybe the only thing that is there is maybe I can change a few properties here and make the width of this to be 300. So it's smaller. So you can see the image is actually shown. So the only thing I didn't do was to return the blob part. The blob part is uh, is the part that contains the image. Okay.
yeah,
So I didn't need to return the entire object. I need to return only the blob part of the image. But the most important point here is that fetch API uses what we call a promise. So when you say fetch and you give it an address, then it returns a promise. That promise, you can act on it. Then this inside response will also return a promise because as it is reading this data, it's going to take some time. So that will also return a promise. That's when I'm now using the other then. So I have two thens here. So I have this then I have this other then. The first then is for getting the data. After that's gotten the data, the next then is for reading the stream data inside the blob. Then once I do that, then I can be able to assign the source of that URL using the URL get object, and I use the blob, which is the data that's been returned from here. Are we together?
yeah,
So all this is just I was just using this for purposes of demonstrating that we can be able to do that in more than one line. But really, the code should look like this. So fetch images. So if I put the second image here, I don't have image number two, and I can do image number three, and so forth and so forth. So you can see when I'm clicking UI and I want to be able to load images dynamically, then I can actually use the fetch API to display those images. Okay.
yeah,
Good. So that is good. But now, fetch we can use the then because we're using we can use then because we're using a fetch API. But I don't like using then. I like using async await. Okay.
yeah,
So this would work, but I prefer to use async await. So what I would have done is something like this. I would have said function get image, then I'll get the image. Now I'll put here async because fetch is an asynchronous function. Fetch is an asynchronous function. So I'll say async this function. Okay. So what it will do is instead of writing this loss of then, I can simply declare a constant variable here. I can declare a constant variable here. So I can say const response is equals to, then I use await. Then now I say fetch, then I fetch whatever I need to fetch, which is this. Okay.
yeah,
So what it will do, it will just wait until it is done. When it is done, it will take that response and put it here. Okay. Then
cool.
I can declare another one which is blob, which will be now uh, response dot blob like that. Okay. Then once I am done, again this is going to be a wait because it's going to execute. It's going to take time to execute. Then from there, I can now come and let me just mask this. Then I can take this code here and now assign it down here like that. It hasn't gotten it. Why? Blob response. No, there's no three. There's one and two. Even three was there. Let me see. 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 That should work. Oh wait, that should work. Why is it not working? Hmm, that works. Hmm, let me console.log this blob. Let me see something here. So here I can simply say console.log response. Let me see what it contains. Why isn't it loading? That's strange. That's very, very strange. Const blob. Okay. Yeah, that await should have been the best. Hmm. Um. Let me see. Am I missing something on sync await? Hmm. Okay, let me see it from. Yeah, that's the correct format. Why is it not? Yeah, that's. I'm not seeing what is wrong here. Oh, silly me. And you're not even telling me. This is actually okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know the issue is I have written this as a function, but I have not invoked the function itself.
Mm,
Victor,
yeah.
you should be informing me that wait, you have not invoked the function.
Oh, I didn't see that you are.
You see I quoted the function, but I never
Yeah.
invoked the function. When I have
Yeah.
quoted it as a async await function, but I actually have
Yeah.
not called it. So I'm wondering why the image is not showing, but the
Yeah.
syntax actually looks correct.
Yeah. Mm,
Yeah, that is silly. Sometimes it happens.
yeah.
So again, as you can see, when it comes to programming, even professionals make mistakes. Eh?
Yeah.
But the whole point was I don't like using fetch directly like that, but you can use it. You just say fetch, then you use the then function. The first then function will get you the response. Then from the response, you can get the blob for the response. Then after you get the blob, then you now pick that blob and you output it as the image. But now when I'm using async await, so I'm just going to run this function asynchronously, which means JavaScript is not going to block the code. It's just going to start executing and wait for something to finish. The first thing it waits to finish is for the image to load. Once the image loads, it's going to save it under response. Then once that has loaded, then it's going to take that response, again wait, and it collects the data that is inside the blob, pick that blob and store it inside this variable. Then from there now I can be able to load that data from here. So I think this one is a much cleaner syntax compared to this one over here. Now,
Yeah.
the good thing here is that I can actually track error. Like for example, I can say dot catch because a lot of things can happen. I didn't catch error in the first one, so I can catch an error here if it occurs. Then I can simply say console.error. Then I give my error like that. So if there's no problem, there is not going to load. But let's say I made a mistake of loading the folder names, then it will have an error and it will tell me there's an error that has occurred over here, not found. So you can see. Okay. So
Yeah.
here, this one is a much cleaner way because it's going to be asynchronous. I can even do error handling at that particular point. So of course, I'm going to assume that no errors are going to occur and everything is clean. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is the first part on using of using what we call the fetch API. Okay.
Yeah.
As you can see, this is very powerful because now I can be able to load this image depending on the person who was logged in. Okay, if Richard was logged in and the profile is 3, but the profile is 1, I can be able to load that dynamical. Of course, this data can come from the database. Okay, this
Yeah.
function can come from the database, so it means that I don't need to put my image source on design, so to speak. Okay,
Yeah.
you want to try that out?
Yeah.
Okay, please do.
15.
That's okay, yeah?
Uh, mine is just showing the profile photo.
Is this changing?
It's not showing the actual photo.
Maybe you can share your screen so that I see where the issue is coming from. Maybe you can share your screen. We look at the code.
Okay.
Okay, so you're saying, okay, remove the first fetch at the top, comment the first fetch, line number 15.
Number 15.
Though that should have started. So what we do,
Yeah.
use async function get image response equals to await image. So you see now in your case, open your
Yeah.
folder, open this to open a folder view there. Then just scroll upwards. I'm seeing images are in the root folder, they're not in the images folder. So I can see
Yeah.
your images img1 is on the root folder. So what you're going to do inside that
Yeah.
page,
Yeah.
just say image space one.jpg. Yeah, so you can just collapse this to the side because they're in the
Oh.
same folder. So image space one, remove es and the slash. Remove the s and the slash. Then space image space one dot jpeg. Yeah, I think that should be able to work.
Oh.
Image space one. Yes. So inside your Nini, your if you go back to your browser window, it should be able to work.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Uh, 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 uh. What you do
Yeah.
between line number 24,
Yeah.
go to the end and press enter. Then console.log response. Bracket console.log in brackets response. Mhm. Then run the browser and open Chrome Developer Tools. We see. Did you share only one window or you share the entire screen? You should have shared the entire screen.
Okay.
Because now I can't see the other side what's happening. Yeah, so yeah, go to that. Uh, right click, then you go to Chrome Developer Tools.
Yeah.
Right click on the page itself. Yeah, inside there, inside the page.
Ah.
Then inspect. Then go to so it says actually you've written console. You've not written console. Line number 25 is it should be console. Okay. Then is on quote it's saying
Yeah.
uh, URL.create object URL is not a function.
Yeah.
Line number is saying line number 27 that because I'm seeing the needs there, the response is there. So that create object URL is the problem. How do you type it? Let me search. See, yeah, that create URL. Create object URL. The O is capital. The O in object is capital.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that should be okay now. Just go back to the browser window, see if there are any errors on the console. But I want to believe now it should be okay. Just go back to the browser window where it's running. On Chrome where it's running.
Yeah, here it is.
I'm the one who's not seeing.
Yeah,
It's still not running.
yeah,
Open developer tools, we see. It's saying image1.jpg. It failed to load. There's nothing as image1.jpg. So the image file is the problem.
yeah.
So what you do, just go back to your code, go to an image, right click, then you say edit or rename. So it is img, it's not image, it's img. I've seen it's img. Yes, it's not image, it's img.
Oh, okay.
So you need to be careful with the names.
Yeah,
Just undo that, then you type in img. Okay, img1. So now you can see it finds and it's able to display.
yeah,
So I think it was just a small mistake.
yeah,
Create object, you had spelled it wrongly, and
yeah,
also the image that you're referring to was non-existent.
yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's clear now.
Yeah,
So that's just an introduction on Fetch API. Fetch API is very powerful because ideally I don't use it for loading images, but as you can see, yeah, you can stop presenting. As you can see, we can still use it for loading images. I just want to show you a simple example first of all, then we can go to more complex examples as we move along. Okay,
okay. Yeah,
so I'll minimize this. A lot of things on my desktop. I'll come back to my code window. I think this is it. I'll come back to my presentation, which is this. Then I'll display them side by side like that. So now what we usually do is we work with JSON data. Okay, JSON data is
yeah,
how data comes back, and that's how we want to show it. So let me show you how we can get JSON data. We can use the first format up here, but I prefer to use this one down here. It's more elegant if you ask me. Okay, so I can
yeah,
say something like maybe say get JSON data. So here I just want to get some JSON data from online.
yeah,
So function get JSON data, JSON. JSON means JavaScript object notation. So it's the most
yeah,
popular format of data that we return when you're working with JavaScript. So I can come here and say, get me some JSON, JSON placeholder data. Yeah, there's this JSON placeholder. You can get them from here. I think they have a to-do list like this. So this is the actual URL if you want to get some to-do list. So I'll just copy this and paste in a new browser window like that. So you can see it gives me some to-do lists, a lot of them. So I can use this URL to get the data, okay? But I can also store this data locally. So let me save this data locally. So I'll just copy this data and I'll create a file here. I'll call it data.json, data.json. Then I'll paste the data here. So I want to be able to get this data that I have here. Okay.
yeah,
So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to say this is going to be an asynchronous function. Every time you're going to use fetch, make sure your function is asynchronous. Okay.
yeah,
Otherwise, it's not going to work out. Then I'm going to say const response equals. Then I say await Then I'll simply say fetch. Then I'll say get me data dot JSON. Okay. So I can come here and console dot log the response. Okay. So that I just want to see how it looks like. Okay. So I'll close this one. I'll come back here. I'll inspect this. I'll come to console here. Well, I didn't call this function, so I'll just call it down here once I'm done with fetching the photo. So I'll call it here. So when I call it, as you're going to see, it's just going to give me the response object, but the data is not going to give me the data. So for the data, I'll simply come and say data. I can say const data equals, then I'll say await, and then once the response is done, then convert it to JSON like that. Then I can come here and say console.log data. So I want to see if it's going to give me the data. So you can see it has actually given me the actual data, 200 of them. This is very powerful, okay? So now I'm
Yeah.
able to fetch this data. So the next thing I need to do is maybe just populate this data inside a table. So let's assume that inside my body here, I had a table, and the table had a table header, and it has maybe, I don't know how many columns this data has, but you can check from the JSON object. It has one, two, three, it has 4 columns: user ID, title, and completed. Okay, so there are 4 columns,
Yeah.
which is ID, user ID. The third one is title and completed. So I have here title of the to do and completed. Okay, so once I have that, then I can have the table body here. So this is where I want to put the data. Okay, so what I can do
Yeah.
here, I'll declare here a constant table body. I'll give it document dot query selector. Then what am I selecting? The table does not have an ID, so let's say ID to dos. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll give it a to dos ID. Then here I'll say query selector get a table with ID to dos, then get the t body. Okay, so it will come to a table with ID to dos, then it will get me the t body, which is this part. So I want to inject that data inside here. In short, okay.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is, because I have gotten this data, instead of logging it, I'll go through each record set. Okay. So what I could do
Yeah.
here is I could say let results is equals to blank, because that's where I want to store my results. Then I will say um, data dot for each. Then we're dealing with a to do list, so I'm going to say to do. Then that to do, just run it here. Now for the to do, I'll simply say results plus equals. I'll create a table row, right?
Yeah.
Then I'll create a table division. Then inside that table division, I'm going to take the to do. Then I'll pick the first ID, which is user ID. Okay, so I'll say user ID. Mm, user ID. I don't know if that is the correct syntax for user ID. It is user ID, then title, then completed. The rest are ID, title, completed. The rest are in lowercase. So I'll do that. Then I will close this to do this. td, then I'll close that. Then I'll come again, say results plus equals. This time I'm only putting a td because I've already created the row, isn't it? Remember,
Yeah.
you need to know how HTML is outputted so that I know what to insert. So here I'll come and put now to do. My emmet is slow, I don't know why. Dot. Then here I'll come and say ID title completed. So I have here ID. Then I have title and completed. So I'll close that TD. My machine is slow. TD. Then I now have title and completed. So I'll copy this twice. So I put title and completed. So title and completed. So this is going to be title. This is going to be completed. Then from here, I'll just close the row now. Then as it goes to the next record, it creates another table row. So you can see how it's coming out. So for each, when I get that data, I'll take that data. Then for each element in the data, I'll pick an element. Then I create a row. Then I create a table division for each row, which will represent the different data that we working with. Once I'm done, I close that table row. Then I repeat the process. So this result is going to have multiple table rows that we're going to display. So the only thing I'm going to do now is to take this table body and I'll say dot inner HTML is equals to results like that. So when I do that and I run this table, it says get JSON data. So data.json, let me see, what do we call it? Data.json is actually there. I thought it had displayed the data. Why is it giving me problems? Uh-huh. So let's do this here because it had actually done for us the data. Console.log the data. So data is login. Oh, so the for each is what is not working. Hmm, that's okay. That looks okay because that looks okay. Why is it refusing? That looks okay.
Oh.
So maybe I can say for mm, but that should be okay. That should be okay. That is JSON already. Well, sometimes it might not be. Let me try this. Data equals JSON. Data equals JSON dot pass data. Sometimes JavaScript is very silly.
Yeah.
Token. Oh, so I think maybe the way this data is, is a bit of a problem. Sometimes, let me just check. When you have exclamation marks, the data becomes invalid. Let me take the first four. Let me take the first 10.
Yeah.
It's all about how the data looks like. So that's not what I want. That's what I want. But I'm wondering. Hmm, let me do this for let I is equals to 0. I is less than data dot length I plus plus. Do this. Then I'll just copy this. So these results here, what you're going to do is this is going to be this to do. I'm going to replace it with data I. Then I'm going to close this. Unexpected token. So this there's some data that is invalid. So let me just get the first one.
Yeah.
The first one is a problem. Kwani, what kind of data did these people give me? Let me check that data.
Look. Drink water.
It actually looks okay. It actually looks okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Is not valid JSON. That is strange. That is the strangest thing I've seen, because this is actually valid JSON. We have just downloaded it online. So I don't see why it should be a problem. Let me check that. Yeah, this is valid JSON. This is very, 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 very valid JSON. Let me just investigate it further. Probably there's another issue with it, but I doubt that should have been the case. That should have been the issue. Let me just go through this. This data looks okay. Hmm. This looks okay. Why is it a problem? Yeah, this looks very okay. I'm not seeing anything wrong with this data. Why isn't it looping then? Okay, what I want to do here, let me try to output something here. Probably maybe but I don't think my construction is wrong. Either of them should have worked. Either of them should have worked. So let me just run. So data dot for each. These ones were what? These ones were to do's, eh? So I'll say to run the following function console log to do. Let me see what it does. It's still the problem. Hmm. Wow, that is strange. That's very to get JSON data. The JSON data. This is actually okay because if I'm able to output the data, if I'm able to output console.log data, oh, there's a problem with the data. So here, let me see. That is now okay. Let me see here. Probably that was the mistake. That is also okay because it's outputting all of it one by one. Then here, let me just pick this. I'll output this. I think that was okay. So console.log results. Yeah, and that is actually okay because yeah, this is actually okay. Oh, I put two. I'm saying there are two. Where this is wrong. It should have been one. But then this should now have been okay. Oh, in HTML, so table body. So this one is the problem. I do it to do's, then find the body. Okay. Let me just say to do's. Then what I'll do is I'll put this to do's here. So IDs with to do's. Somebody is query selector with to do's. Why is it telling me that setting in HTML cannot set property null? That property is not being found. Table body document dot. Okay. Let me say get element by ID. Then I remove these ones. Hmm. How strange is that? Dot. Okay. We can say the text. Hey, this is strange because resource is actually here. So our issue is actually to output to lay it on the table. Eh?
Yeah.
That's strange because then this is table body is document.get number of ID to do's. To do's is actually here. Then this should actually be That should actually be .html. That is strange. That is very, very strange. Okay, we know for sure that up to here we are okay. Up to this point we are okay. Why is this failing? Table body.html. Because I'm targeting this table. I'm targeting this table. Um. Oh, I have put T-body outside the table. That's why it was not even working in the first place. I placed that T-body wrongly, but still it's not working. The problem is cannot say property null of inner HTML. This is ID. That's very strange. That should work. That's strange. T-body. Hey, Victor, what is going on here? This looks very okay. Why isn't it working?
I
I have
don't
a
know.
table. I have a table head. One, two, three, four. Then I have table body. Then I close the table body here. So I want to output this text inside here. Why is it refusing? Because ideally that's what we usually do. And I've done that like about a million times. Hmm. Let me see what I could be missing. Table is table. Table ID to do's. Hmm. This is strange. It's very strange because yeah, what I would have done is table body is query selector. Then I'll use table to do. Then I'll get to body. I can see actually it has done it. So I need to do to body. Yeah, I don't know why it was failing in the first place, but as you can see now, it's actually okay. Yeah, I don't know why it was failing in the first place, but now it's okay. So what I could do here, I could just say border is equals to 1 so that you're able to see where it is. So when I do that, you can see now I'm able to output all the tasks inside this table, all the 200 of them. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know why it was failing the first time because this is actually what I had written. So table ID is to do's, then I put a T-body. Well, this T-body I had put it outside here, so that's why it was not working, but now I've returned it here. Now it should be able to work. Okay, that was the mistake that I had made, I think. The rest was supposed to be fall in place. But the whole idea was I'm supposed to take data, then for each data, I just loop through and I now output the data that I want to output. Okay?
Yeah.
Of course, if I want to do this, okay, let me not do the structuring, but you generally get the idea. So this is how you populate data. Like for example, if you go to your Gmail, you'll find that they've listed all the emails that you've received. That is exactly the same format that they've used to be able to achieve such a thing. Okay, it's only that table is formatted, but the whole idea is what you have done here. I'll simply pick that data. So in my case, I'm picking it as data.json. I'm picking it from a file, but you can also pick it from a URL like this. So I can pick this URL, copy it here, paste it here, and you'll see it will still be able to work out. Now it's picking that data dynamically, and you can see it's actually still working. So this data is being picked from outside. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe if I wanted to filter
Yeah.
out this data to show you that I'm filtering the data that is coming from offline, so I can simply say here data equals data dot filter, and I'll simply say data, maybe say I want to return what do we call it? I want to return data with ID of 10. So I'll simply say item. Then I'll say item dot user ID is equals to 10. For example, it will only get me data with user ID 10. Then that's what will filter here. So um, why is it not filtering? Console.log data. I don't know if it's my compiler that is too slow. Let me just check the console and check. In promise assignment, oh, it's a constant variable. So this data is constant. So I should have let here. That's the problem. Consolio. It's console, not consolio. So you can see I've only filtered with user ID 10. Okay. So you can see the first column
Yeah.
ID I've picked with ID 10. If I wanted user ID maybe whatever it is, I would have done that. But that is now data that is coming from online, as you can be able to see from here. So when it comes to Fetch API, I can pick data both locally and from an external source, and I'm able to work with it, which makes it very, very powerful to work with JavaScript. Okay.
Yeah.
That is quite a lot, and that's very powerful. So you need to be able to have mastered how that works out, so that now, of course, we're not going to do backend. We're not going to do backend programming, but this is actually how a backend looks like. You design your backend so that your backend returns some data. Then that data now you can use it to populate your your how do you call it, your web page. Okay.
Yeah.
So from here, I can do several things. Once I have the data, I can now decide to do several things with the data. Like I'm repeating for each data, but I could have just taken the first row and I say popular post. So I could create a popular post here, then I simply output a popular post as the first post, isn't it? So
Yeah.
things like those ones. So when it comes to now data, once you have picked the data and you are able to have it as a JSON object, which is here inside your page, then now you have the power to do a lot of things with it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that is Fetch API, and that is what it does. Okay,
Yes.
so I think maybe now moving forward, I'll try to look for an API that has a lot of data. Then I'll show you how to do a small project with all these things that you have learned, so that now you can be able to see how to put it all together.
Okay.
Cindy,
Yeah.
I think the movies API, there's another one called movies API. I think it's good. Let me look at it this evening, then see if we can do a small project with it for the next few days with you, so that we just see how you put everything together as far as your UI is concerned.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Any question up to that point?
No. I. It's just the part of the data which I can watch the video and then I understand. Does this data mean anything?
Yeah?
Does this data uh used in a web page?
Yes, this most of the data that we use, you see, initially I was using data that was coming from a file, which is this one. I had saved the data locally, but I've also
Yeah.
shown you how to get the data from a remote location. So if I replace this one
Okay.
with my current data, which is
Yeah.
data.json, it will still be able to work. Only that now it's going to be picking this data from my machine, which is this file
Yeah.
over here. But the other one
Yeah.
was picking it from online.
Yeah.
Okay? I was
Yes.
just trying to show you the best of both worlds, how you can use both of them.
Yeah.
Okay?
I've understood.
Yes. So first of all, I saved it on my machine. I went and picked the API and run it. Then I saved this data, copied this data, and saved in this file so that it is local. But that was just to demonstrate that you can pick image data, you can pick text file, you can upload Excel files. You can really do a lot of things when it comes to reading data. Okay?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Any other question?
No.
So I think let's take a break at that. I'll share this video immediately. Look at it
Okay.
in case there's any question, then you can let me know.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a rest. Have a wonderful day.
You too.